Hey guys, Lek here. Quick video to show you how to change brakes and rotors on a 2017 Nissan Murano SUV. Let me show you what you need and we'll get started. I want to make this short, quick, and to the point for you guys. Obviously you need the new rotors, new brake pads. You're going to need a 22, 21, and an 18mm socket. You're going to need a breaker bar. If you don't have it, you're definitely going to need a hammer. I'll show you why in a minute. Some brake cleaner this is for cleaning any dust and rust off the old setup, and also clean any oils of this. Some brake lubricant, probably a flathead screwdriver, brushes, and I'm not using the cars, included wrench. I'm using this new toy I bought to quickly pop off wheels exactly for this purpose. And then obviously if you have torque wrench to torque everything down correctly. I'm going to mention the torque specs as we go on to make sure you do it right. So we just pop the wheel up first. Before we start doing anything, we are going to open up our brake reservoir. The reason for this is when we're pushing the pistons back, pressure's not pushing it back, so we don't have to deal with bleeding, anything like that. I'm going to rotate the wheel so I can see it better, get better access in there. Here's our caliper assembly. We're going to pop these two bolts off first. That's going to be the 18mm socket. You might need a breaker bar for that. I'm going to try without it first. Yeah, you need a breaker bar. Torque specs on this is actually only 22 foot-pounds, but obviously somebody went higher. Yeah. And I forgot to mention, when you jack up your car, make sure you have a safety stand, not just the jack alone. You can't trust that. So remember that part. Before I completely remove this, since I'm replacing both rotors and the brakes, I want to actually use the brake pads and the rotor itself right now to push the pistons back instead of using this C-clamp tool, stuff like that. So let me show you guys a close-up what that looks like. So all I'm getting is my screwdriver between the rotor and the brake pad. I'm going to wedge it in there. And then I'm pushing away towards me. And that's compressing the piston rod in there. So it's going to allow space for the new brake pads, which are going to be obviously a lot wider. I want to do the bottom and the top because there is two pistons in there. Otherwise you're going to have to do it manually after you take it off. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Yeah. Alright, now we can completely remove this. Get a little bungee, you're gonna need it. This is the two pistons I was telling you about we're pushing back. We actually might have to push them back even a little more. So now, not to mess up the brake line, I'm just gonna hang this up right up here. So it's safely working. We can pop off our brake pads now. As you see, these things are done. In the back, the clip goes on top, no clip on the bottom, just so you guys know when we put this back on later. Now we can take off the rest of the assembly, and for that we're using the 22mm socket. Definitely going to need a breaker bar for that because this is 122 pounds when torqued down. If you don't have a breaker bar, another method will be just grab your regular wrench and you get a rubber mallet or hammer and slowly hit it. Not the optimal way, but if that's all you have, you do it. Just remember, you can break this if you do it that way. So we're going to cut this off now, one by one. That's the assembly. Our rotors came with new clips, so we're gonna replace them. Besides that, we gotta get this old rotor off. Normally, should come off. If it's a little rusted, you gotta give it a few taps with a hammer, and it should pop right off. There's also a tool that you can put actually to remove this professionally. AutoZone should rent that for you for free. But we're gonna clean all this up now. Metal wire brush. With the brake cleaner just to get any dust off. And we can pop on a new rotor. We do want to clean it off first. So we're going to hit it with the brake cleaner, get any oil residue off of it. Both sides. Just pop this guy on. Now when you're reassembling this, you can put a couple lug nuts here just to hold this in place if it's moving on you. But if it's sitting still, don't even worry about it. You should be fine. So we gotta clean this up. Pop these old clips off. We got our brand new ones here. Get the brush. Brush out any dirt, rust, debris. Hit it with the brake cleaner as well. Now we can grease this up. And one thing you want to grease up is also these guide slider pins. You want to make sure they're moving smoothly when you're braking. So if you need to clean them up, but these actually look pretty good, so I'm just adding a little bit of grease on here. The boots, inspect them, make sure there's no cracks. If they are, it's recommended you replace them. Make sure this pops in back over the lip here, not sitting like this. So when it goes out, the boot stays on. Same with this side. So that's good. And we'll grease up any connection points where the slider pins are gonna sit. And I'm actually gonna do the same thing with the pins themselves. Because anytime you hear squeaking, that's where it comes from. Any metal touching that's not lubricated between the pads and these pins. And the inside, this is where the pads are going to slide on, actually right here. Now you just pop these in. Like that. Now we'll do the same thing with the other side. Once you have it all greased up, now we can actually reinstall this and begin the reassembly of the whole setup. So now these bolts we're torquing down 222 foot-pounds, which actually seems a lot, but that's the specs. And it's almost impossible, guys, to find specs for any torque. It took me a while searching around, but so it's over here to click. So 122, guys. Not sure how to use a torque wrench. I did make a separate video. I'm gonna put a link below. I'm using the Tecton brand. This was 40 bucks. Useful tool if you're gonna be doing this a lot. So definitely invest in one. Now we can put our brakes on. I mean my brake pads. So same thing. I'm gonna put a little grease on them as well. Especially on the back here. This is also a connection point. All this you want greased up. And these little tips here where they're gonna slide onto those guide pins that we installed already. So remember, the clip goes on top. You gotta get it in there first. It's a little annoying here in the back section, but you gotta get this tab in first. It's hard for me to show you. I'll show you. Get my gloves off, guys. I'm sliding all over the place with them. And probably grease this up after you install them, because you don't want to get any grease on the pad that's going to be touching the rotor. So once again, oh, okay, that's actually easier. What I did was I put the bottom in first, then I pushed this little tab so it gets under here, and I slid it in. So that was the trick. So now for the front, I'll just do these tabs first. And I'll do this at the end. But here, this is in your way, so we got to go a little bit on an angle. It's a little trick here. But try to get the bottom in first. And now I'm going to drop this here. And boom. Oh, it was easy. And now we grease this up. Go. Gotta prep this guy now. So if you got any gunk on here, get it off. I might have to actually depress this more. Let me see. Yep. So now I'm gonna show you the other way of doing it if you didn't do the screwdriver trick. I'm gonna take our old pad, a C-clamp. There is a special tool for doing this. I don't own one. But all I'm gonna do is put the old brake pad here. Put my C-clamp on the back here and just tighten it down till they compress. And as you see, they're going down. And that's it, guys. Now I'm gonna grease that up. I already put it on the pads themselves, but I like to just add a little extra here as well, because those are the actual contact points. And now we can slide this on. Make sure your boots are all in good shape, nothing's out of place. Okay. And when you tighten this, if this is spinning, you just hold this bolt here with your hand, or you can use a wrench. So now we're gonna tighten this down to only 22 foot-pounds. Maybe a little extra, just for that extra sense of security, but the actual number is 22. That's it, guys. Make sure you close your reservoir and give the brakes a pump. So there was no air pockets that I was feeling, so we're good. If you do need to drain your bleed your fluids, the cap is right here for that. You pop this off, unscrew it, but none of this is necessary when you're changing your brakes. So now we just put our wheel back on, and with that, that's a brake change. Well, I'm also going to do a video for the rear, so link below, or just check out my channel for more. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope this is helpful. Please give me a thumbs up, please subscribe, and any questions, let me know. Thank you. One thing I forgot to show you guys, when you're torquing your wheels back on, the torque specs for the torque wrench for your lug nuts is 83 foot-pounds. That goes all around for this car, and that information I was able to find in the manual, as well as the torque specs for when you're draining the oil. The oil plug drain is 25 foot-pounds, but that's it. You're not going to find nothing on the calipers and stuff. I had to do the research to find that. So I hope that helps you guys, and yeah, check out the other video. Thank you.